half the battle is just showing up. And then if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. It'll be. Good morning, folks, and happy Wednesday. A big shout out to my beautiful fiance, because if it wasn't for her, I would be late this morning, because we spent entirely too long last night. Well, we caught some dubs, but that's not even what we spent so long doing. Me and my guy, instead of actually playing Fortnite, decided to dive into the mini games and played escape games for hours. Mindless, brain-numbing fun. Not saying we didn't have fun, just saying, whew, we stayed up too late having that fun, in which we're feeling it this morning. We've made it halfway through a cup of coffee, and we are still struggling to keep these eyes open. So, let's hope that our run makes us nice and alert, that we can make it there on time to get a good run in. As of right now, we should. But that we make it there and get enough time to get a good run in. It gets us nice and warm, so that when we go to get better today than we were yesterday, we aren't literally dying. So yeah, folks, let's go fight this Atlanta traffic and go get better today than we were yesterday, and try to wake ourselves up with a little bit of good old-fashioned cardio. Well, we have made it to the gym, folks, and enough time to knock out this run to get in better shape today than we were yesterday. And let me just tell you, your boy, he is tired. He is fatigued. He is feeling the day, and the day hasn't even started. Wish your boy luck. Say a prayer that this run warms me up for the day, because I'm sore as hell. Run complete. And while yes, the run did warm me up, that joker took a lot out of me too. That was a tough one. We did a full 30, but I thought I was only going to get 20, so I freaking booked it on out of the freaking parking lot. And then booked it on back as quickly as I could, and then I realized, oh, no one's here yet. So I continued running for another 10, and continued just keeping that same pace. And let me tell you, well, yes, we are warmer than when we started. That joker shot my body. I'm fatigued. I am fatigued. Let's get in here, let's grab our things, let's stretch it out, and let's go get better today than we were yesterday. And give it the best that we possibly can, because that's all we really got today. Well, folks, good news. Good news. The run, it indeed warmed us up enough to have a nice, smooth practice to get better today than we were yesterday, to have an efficient practice like we were talking about yesterday. Whew. But I'm a little upset, a little teensy bit upset. Why do I say that? Because now we did all this planning for this car show. We got confirmation, we got all these vendors, we got all this stuff, right? And then the park informs us that they're having football games, and due to the spectators and everything else like that, they are not going to be able to let us host the car show there on that date. Which is no big deal. I mean, that's fine. We don't have to host it that date. But it's just the fact of, it was a lot of work. Now I have to do all the work back over in hopes that we can still get these vendors and still get these people to come out, and all the people, the participants who had already signed up. And needless to say, a lot of effort's already been put in behind the scenes. But it's all good. It's all good. They do a lot of stuff for us, like give us a place for us to run our program. So I'm not too upset, but it does throw a wrench into our plans. I guess it's the best way to put it. Definitely throws a wrench into our plans. Oh, that blows. Because us marking that day was supposed to block off, but I mean, I understand football makes a whole lot more money for them than grappling ever will. So, understandable, but I am a teensy bit upset. A little teensy bit upset. But like I said, practice went phenomenal. It went great. Except for the little sickness bug that's going around and has sat like 5 of our teammates. So, let's hope that we don't get sick too. Anyways, after feeling like it was gonna be a tough day, why the heck were we getting out of bed today? Why are we up here? After feeling like all that, even after our run, like I was fatigued after that run. I didn't really think it warmed me up. I was kind of like, well, my brain feels a little bit more on. I still don't want to go in here. And then we went in there, and then we had a great practice. We got better today than we were yesterday, dang sure. So much so that people were like, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? How are you doing this, bro? And they were just wondering how I continued to take their back and what back take I was using. And it's just a Hinto roll. If someone turtles up, I'm just pushing their head down with my shoulder and rolling. That's it. Pretty simple. I teach it to my kids. But I'm really effective at it and really efficient with it, so yeah. See? Efficiency, like we were talking about yesterday. Coach made me break that down for like 3 months. Just different dilemmas set up from there. And now I get it just about every time I get to turtle. Just about every time you turtle, I am getting on your back and choking you seconds later. So, yeah, do the little things, folks. The little things. Like make sure you take your vitamins so you don't get sick. Actually, that's not going to make sure you don't get sick, but it'll push it away for a little bit longer. At least that's what studies say. It'll combat it if you keep your vitamins and your minerals up in your body. But let's stop yapping and let's eat our lunch. Let's call JB and let's see if we can work up a plan of how to get around not being able to do a car show on that date. Oh, and get home so that we can get a reset in before going to get the kids better today than they were yesterday. And we have made it home, folks. Enough time for us to get a little nap skiing before having to go get the kids better today than they were yesterday, before having to go get ourselves better again today than we were yesterday. And on the way home, well, I called JB and she'd fallen back asleep, so I didn't really get to chit chat with her about it. But on the way home I started thinking about it, and honestly, there's probably another business around here who would like to be able to do something like that, to be able to put their business out there to the community. There's probably also like maybe other parks that may want to. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go around and I'm going to reach out to them by probably on Friday and see if we can find another location. And if not, it's no big deal. We'll make it work. Hopefully. Fingers are crossed. We're going to do our best. We are going to do our absolute best. We're going to do all we can. I mean, we've come this far already. We have insurance paid for. We have vendors signed up. Participants signed up. There's a bunch of people signed up. So, I would really like to be able to make this work. But if we can't, I understand. We just need to get a day to sit down, look at over all the parks, all the recreational places, all the big parking lots, and see who's may let us put this on. So, wish us luck, folks. I'm going to go lay down. I'm going to take me a little nap. Then I'm going to wake up. I'm going to go get these kids better today than they were yesterday. I'm going to go get myself better today than I was yesterday. And we'll use our riding time as time to think about what the heck we're gonna do. Well, that nap was great, but another shout out to my fiance. If it wasn't for her, we would have just missed that kids class. Because for some reason, I guess we didn't set an alarm. So, yeah, our alarm never went off. Luckily, she woke me up, got me going. She's like, hey, you gotta go. I'm like, no way, my alarm ain't went off yet. And then I rolled over to check my alarm, my time, and she's dang sure right. I was about 10 minutes late. But we are up now. Let's go get these kids better today than they were yesterday. Haha, folks, check it. We wake up late and we make it on time. I'm proud of us. That like never happens. Let's get in here. Let's get these kids better today than they were yesterday, and then we will just go over technique in which we were doing today, because we have no time to yap about the technique and why we were doing the technique in which we were doing today. So while we are on time, we are just barely on time. So let's get in here before we are late. Kids class went phenomenal. A few of them had a little bit of struggles with the technique, but like I reiterated to them, if you come in here and you were able to perfect the move in the very first day, you might as well just take my spot and let's call you coach, because that is not how it works. So a few of them looked discouraged, but at the end they were all like, I was like, so if you were able to get it one time just right without anyone saying it to you, you're able to, heck, even with me saying it to you, walking you through it, if you were able to get it, go ahead and pat yourself on the back. And everyone started patting themselves on the back, because they weren't wrong to pat themselves on the back. Every one of them, every single one of them were able to work themselves through the position, definitely with me standing over them. So that's great. We ended up working a cow catcher today, Metcalf, Bulldog, whatever you want to call it, because we had been working some off balancing, and I know that's what this series was about, was off balancing. That's what we're supposed to be working, Kazushi, things like that. But we were snapping our opponents to their front head yesterday, so, or shucking them by, whichever one you chose. But I told them, most likely you're gonna end up choosing the front head method. So because so many people fail to get to the back from front head, they can get to the front head, but they can never solidify the back control from there. I figured a cow catcher would be the next best thing to throw into the series, just to give them something that, oh, I can't get to the back. They keep throwing their arm up. Well, them throwing their arm up just makes it easier for you to throw a Metcalf, throw a Bulldog, throw a cow catcher, whatever you want to call it. Needless to say, you're in a front head and you catch the underhook. You run the underhook side to the opposite side, because this is jiu-jitsu, this isn't wrestling. You don't have to worry about potentially dangerous. Run that joker over and push their head down at the same time. That's ultimately what you're doing. Making a circular motion with your hands. Making a circular, I guess it's an Aki motion. And rolling them to their back, pinning them, and from there, getting to work. And I believe if you can't pin your opponent, hold them there, then your jiu-jitsu is pointless, because it is really, 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 really difficult to jiu-jitsu with someone who does not want to jiu-jitsu, whether that be in self-defense scenario, whether that be in a jiu-jitsu match with a good wrestler who is just trying to solidify a takedown and stand back up. This can go MMA. If you're a grappler, they're not gonna want to sit with you. Whatever the scenario is, maybe it's 80cc rules and they keep hurdling. Well, cow catcher and send them to their back. Cow catcher and send them to the back. Cow catcher and send them to their back. So that's what we did today. We cow caught and sent them to their back. And we're getting out of here at a fairly decent hour. So I guess let's hit the road and try to get to the gym as quickly as we can and catch as much as practice as we possibly can. Needless to say, the kids did good. There was, of course, they have some room to improve on this cow catcher position, but like I told them, if you solidify any technique on the very first day and you master it, go ahead and take my spot, because well, it's taken me 10 years to figure some of these things out. You know, it takes time to master stuff. So never get discouraged. Your first time, you're gonna fail. Second time, you're probably gonna. Third time, you're most likely gonna. Fourth time, you might get a little bit closer. Fifth time, you're probably gonna fail again, and then so on and so forth until you start winning or getting it right or mastering it. It just takes repetition, 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 repetition. It's the little things, folks. If you're not willing to do the little things, you will never achieve the big things. Let's get to practice. As I'm cruising down the street, I had just remembered that I had forgotten to mention. So the head of the Parks and Rec came up to us came into my class today while we were going over the move of the day. So I went over and said, hey, of course. And he goes, hey, disregard that email from earlier. I'm like, you sure? He's like, yeah, we had 2 parking lots. I don't know what they're talking about. So goofy. He's like, if y'all can keep it in the upper parking lot, it's all yours. I was like, you sure? He's like, yeah, that's great. It doesn't matter. It doesn't bother me. So, the stressing was for nothing. That's why I didn't really stress. I was just like, I'll say a prayer about it, and then if it doesn't work out, then we will figure it out. Another idea will pop into our brains. Another idea we will come up with. So there's nothing to stress about, folks. Nothing at all. Not one little bit. The good Lord took control. I literally, as I was walking out, I said a little prayer. I was like, if this car show's not meant to be, just have it not meant to be. We'll figure it out. If we need to put it somewhere else, we can put it somewhere else. But at the end of the day, I mean, you got control over all this. They have control over all this. It's you, bro. It's you. And then I get in, and going over technique. And the Parks and Rec head comes in, not even just like the guy who's over that one building, he's over all of it in the area. Goes, hey, thank you for what you're doing. I was like, no, thank you for what you're doing. He's like, I just want to let you know, disregard that message from earlier. I don't know what they were talking about. I'm like, brother, thank you so much. Thank you. So, car show is back on. Same location, same everything, same date, same time. Nothing changes. Nothing to stress about. That's why I usually don't stress, folks, because if it's within my control, then I need to start figuring out how to do something about it. If it's not within my control, there is nothing for me to stress about. Say a prayer and go on with our day. So, yeah. Let's finish up this drive to go and get better today than we were yesterday. Well, after an abundance of traffic, we have made it. Let's get in here. Let's get better today than we were yesterday. Jeez, folks, that was a tough one. Every day is a tough one. But today was indeed a tough one. Let's drag ourselves the next door, get a few just rounds in, clean up, and get home. Well, now that we have gotten a few extra rolls in, we have showered up, I guess we can call it a night, folks. Ooh. You know what's crazy is I was really tempted at the kids' class just to go home, clean up, and call it a night. But something inside of me told me not to be a baby and to just get to practice. And I'm glad we did, because yet again, we surprised ourselves just by getting in here. And getting in here, we did half the battle, and then we were able to still get better today than we were yesterday. A lot of times it's just about showing up. Half of the battle is just show up. When you show up, traditionally you're gonna not want to waste your time, or you're not gonna want to waste your partner's time, or getting moving and you're like, oh, I kind of feel nice now. Or you start getting those dopamine rushes and you're like, oh, let's see how far we can take this good feeling we've got. Or maybe you got good training partners and they bring good energy to you, and you're like, now I've got to go hard. So whatever it may be that ends up driving you, let it be. It doesn't really matter what it is. Today, it just happened to be, I started moving, and then it was a little bit of everything. From I started moving to my partner started showing up, and then I started bouncing off of their energy, and so on and so forth. So, see, that's why I say, like, combat sports are, like, or is, like, the best alternative fitness, because when you don't want to do it, and you don't show up, then you're not only failing yourself, but you're failing others. Whew. Dude, I'm freaking beat today. That was just walking to the truck and carrying my stuff. That was tiring. But the reason why I say alternative fitness is such a combat sport, some kind of martial arts, is such a great way to get into shape. I know I said yesterday that it's not about getting into shape, and it's not, but why I say it's such a alternative fitness is so nice, group fitness is so nice, is because you bounce off the others in the room. So you're not only failing yourself, but you'll be failing others if you don't, lock in and put in the work. And today I didn't want to fail myself, so we're already here. We might as well put in the work. And then on top of it, we have teammates who are getting ready for stuff. So I'm like, I gotta put in the work for them. And then, yeah, next thing you know, we're dripping sweat and ready to fall over, fatigued. But we got better today than we were yesterday. Like I said, that's all that really matters. Let's get our butts home, folks, and get some grub in us, because about a quarter way through, our belly started growling. So our bellies have been growling for like 3 hours. So I'd really like to go get some dinner. So let's go home. Let's warm up our food, and let's call it a freaking night, folks. Folks, we are home. I can't lie to you. That was one tough, stinking ride home. It was a struggle to keep my eyes open. A struggle the whole way home. Not to mention, our legs are hurting, our shoulders are hurting, our body is hurting. Our whole body. Not just one part, our whole body. But we made it home safely. Here we are in the driveway. Home. But it was a struggle. Let me just put it that way. Whew. But folks, as we learned today, I guess we didn't learn it. I guess we just reinforced it today. Half the battle is just showing up. And then if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. It'll be. You know what I mean? Kind of like with the car show today. We could have gotten all worked up, all stressed, I don't know what we're going to do, blah, blah, blah. I didn't. I just sat there and I thought, well, let's think of some other places where we can host it if we can't do it there. But there's absolutely nothing I can do about it right this second. So let me go take my nap. Let's say a little prayer. And when we wake up, we'll go get these kids better today than they were yesterday. And we will conversate with the head there. And, well, the head of the park in which we were at wasn't there today. But the head of all of the parks was indeed there today. And he was like, yeah, you're good. I didn't even have to go to him. He just came up to me. He's like, hey, you're just using one parking lot, aren't you? I'm like, yes, sir. He's like, oh, do the car show. You're good. So I said thank you and went on with my day. Yeah, folks, if it's not something that you can, I guess, have, if it's something you have no control over, it's not worth getting upset over. It is what it is. Go on with your day. If it's something that you can indeed do something about, well, do something about it and don't get upset about it. That's pretty simple. That's as simple as it gets. If you can do something about it, do something about it. If you can't, well, just deep breaths and go on with your day. If it's meant to be, it'll be. Just like the car show. Just like me getting better today than we were yesterday. We were like, let's just show up. And if it's meant to be, it'll be. Like, we will get better today than we were yesterday. And then, guess what? It was meant to be. We broke a sweat. Halfway through, I felt rhythm was being put into our bodies and skill was being added. You know what I mean? I think that's a good way of looking at it. But, like I said, this ride was hard. It was a hard ride. We have been fatigued all stinking day. And we still got to go inside and cook us up some food. So I guess let's get our butts inside. Let's grub down. And let's call it a night, folks. We may or may not be on the stream. We'll play that one by ear. Just depends on what time we get done eating, because we are home extremely late tonight. For someone who was fatigued all day, we ended up staying extremely freaking late. See? It was just meant to be. If it's meant to be, it'll be. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. It's pretty simple. It is what it is if it's not. But let's get our butts inside. Good night, folks. And BillyGoat freaking loves ya.